Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Well, hello friends, and welcome back. All right, to start off today, I have a public service announcement. You must stop purchasing gift cards from grocery stores, superstores, any location where you physically take a card off a rack. Costco's probably okay. They're pretty safe, I bet, but you're limited to whatever their current deal is anyway. Forever, I have purchased gift cards from Ralph's because at Ralph's I get 4 times the gas points every time that I purchase a gift card from there. So I've always done that. I've always thought that's a steal of a deal, and I want those gas points, anything to lower the price of gas in California. However, recently I went to Ralph's. I bought 4 Amazon gift cards. And these are the ones that were sold in those paper cardboard, type of contraptions. And I bought them. These are the ones that you have to peel open and you got to scratch off the code. It sure seemed like a safe thing to do. I bought them for my 4 team members, and 3 of my team members came back and said, these were already redeemed. Amazon's so sorry, you're out of luck. These have been used. I couldn't believe it. 3 out of 4. So this created quite an ordeal, and we went to Ralph's first to figure out how do we deal with this. They said to contact Kroger. Kroger then gave us a case number. Kroger then said, you've got to reach out to Amazon. We reached out to Amazon. Amazon couldn't help us. They just said, yes, it was redeemed. But if you didn't get gift cards from Amazon, then we can't help you. So back to Kroger we went. And somewhere along this line, there was an employee who said to us, this happens all the time. You should only get gift cards digitally. You know what? Lesson learned. Good news, Kroger did refund my money, which I really appreciate. Thank you, Kroger. But the bottom line is Kroger lost. First, I felt like I lost. Then Kroger lost because they lost money. And maybe people are like, yeah, but Kroger has a lot of money to lose. That's okay, but who won? Who won in that? The thieves won. I can't stand letting thieves win. So I'm here to promote digital gift card giving. If you're going to give a gift card, do it digitally. There are lots of ways to do this. I use Punchbowl. Punchbowl is an online greeting card invitation site, and they have a free version, but they're connected to a whole lot of companies. So when I send a gift card now, it's great. You get a little card from me, and on top of it, you get a digital gift card that I know is going to work, which is important. And I know there are a lot of other companies. If you have any company that you use that offers that service without transaction fees of passing on gift cards digitally, let me know. I'm always wanting to learn. Teach me. Who do you use? How do you do that? Okay, that was just my PSA. But another thing that I would like to encourage you to keep in mind this week is what our episode is all about. We've got a new school year coming into view, and I want us this year to focus on value over volume, or depth over breadth, or otherwise known as quality over quantity. Whatever you want to call it, I think we all get the gist, yes? I actually spent some time thinking about when is there a time that quantity is actually better than quality? And I struggled to find something. Let me know if something pops right into your mind and you're like, oh, I've got several to share with you. I'd be curious. But the closest thing that I could come up with was related to traveling. When our oldest son, Tyler, was graduating from OSU, we drove from Southern California to Oregon with the two younger boys, and we wanted to stop and visit as many California missions as possible along the way. We had just been learning about them, and I'm like, let's just see how many we can visit. But we were pressed for time. There was a graduation happening. And so they were quick visits, and they were 100% quantity over quality. They were not quality field trips really at all. Like some we were like in and out. We're like, okay, get your picture, stand here, click, done, get in the car, we gotta go. But that's okay because our goal was quantity. We checked a lot off our list, and it was just kind of a fun bucket list item kind of thing to do. We were happy with it. But here's the thing, I can come up with far more examples where I would prefer value over volume or quality over quantity. Back when I was a classroom teacher, so I'm going back to the late 1990s. Yeah, it was probably right in and about there, maybe 96, 97. When I was a classroom teacher, we had a grade level chairperson who had gone to a seminar and came back and was like, okay, at this conference, I have learned, and I want us to all try to require short essays, like 3 paragraphs, right? An introduction, a body, and a conclusion every week, all semester long. And the thought was that our students would become so efficient from that constant practice that writing would just become second nature. They'd be like, oh, I do this all the time, therefore I'm going to get really good at it. Quantity was the name of the game. And I went in kicking and fighting. I didn't like it from the beginning. That's just not how writing happens. Writing isn't a just, quantity, because as writers, we need to have time to connect with our writing. And as you might imagine, the idea did flop. You can't be surprised. I don't think you would be. Because even kids who loved to write began hating writing because it was so rushed. And like I said, writers like to connect with what they're writing, and students couldn't because it was turn and churn. It was burnout. It was instant burnout. Kids were just not having it. So that didn't last. I don't even know that we made it through the semester, honestly. It was an epic fail. But moving forward, I knew at that point that quality, even if it takes a lot of time, quality is so much better than quantity. So come to present day, I now have an online writing program that I've developed, and we take an entire month to write one essay. An entire month to write one essay. We break every step of the writing process into 4 separate weeks. There's a specific focus every week, and it's all about depth over breadth. And I'm happy to share with you exactly how we do this, just in case it helps you as a homeschool parent aid your children in improving their academic writing skills. But I also want to encourage you to find the ways that you can apply this idea of value over volume and quality over quantity to other subjects, maybe even areas in your life. I would much rather have a few quality friends than hundreds of friends, right? Really let this idea sink in this week and really put your mind into thoughts about when you're doing things. Are you more focused on quality or are you more focused on quantity, getting lots of things checked off in a day? But back to homeschooling, how might this look in math, in science, in history? Oh my goodness, in novels, right? Excellent chapter books. How might this look? And I will get back to giving you some ideas that I have in those areas. But like I said, I am happy to share with you exactly how we break down writing a quality academic essay. That is my gift to you this week. So here's how we do it. In week number 1, you want that to be your preparation week. This is where you're going to introduce a topic. So let's just say you're going to write persuasively. I'm going to use an example of one we've done in the past. Feel free to use this. We called it Vacay Hooray, and the students had to research the pros and cons of a vacation in Hawaii versus the pros and cons of a vacation in New York. And they had to keep in mind they were going to have to persuade their family to go on a vacation, which would be the better vacation destination. We gave them articles to read. We taught them how to take notes, and then how to come up with an opinion based on what you have to support that and write a thesis, and then organize your notes into an outline so that your thoughts make sense. Now, that took a little bit of writing and a little bit of reading and a little bit of note taking, about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. That's what it takes. Now, you'll notice they still haven't written an essay. They haven't. They've just prepared themselves to now write the essay. And that's what we focus on in week 2. That's production week. So in production week, give our students the chance to finish up their outlines and then expand on those outlines, turning it into their very first rough draft, or what we like to call the sloppy copy. That's so much easier to do if you have an outline that you have already put together based on the information that you collected, because you're slowly organizing things into a way that it's just going to read beautifully as an essay. They get a whole week to do that. In week 3, we focus on, well, we call it polishing week because it's time to shine. So keep in mind, this is the same essay. We've not finished. We're on our 3rd week where we're going to read and reread our essay multiple times. This is where your students can start to connect with what they wrote, with their thoughts. They can start to improve sentences, paragraphs, add in more details. They're going to use the revision techniques that we teach. They're going to use our 4-color editing checklist. And then finally, at the end of that 3rd week, they're going to turn it in. But it's still not done. It's still not done. They turn it in, we give them a video review, and now we go to week 4. And this is the final week. This is called publishing week. To publish something just means to go public with it. So they get their video review back from us. They have to watch that, and they see us go through each paragraph. I mean, it is a fine-tooth comb. And we compliment all the things they did really well. We offer suggestions that are going to make things even better. We catch grammatical errors. You know it. You get it. So on and so forth. They make their final changes, and then they're done, except for they must read a portion in one of our clubhouse meetings because, and it's so important that you do this part with your kids, where are your children sharing what they created? Publicly. And it can be a tiny little public. It could be a co-op group. It could be calling grandma. Be like, Grandma, can I read to you my favorite paragraph from my essay that I just wrote? Read it to her. Or maybe have your child do a video reading of the essay and then send it. Just whatever you do, do not place it in a pile or hide it in a binder. Writing should be shared publicly, otherwise children don't see the purpose. What's the purpose? To share our thoughts. So that's how we do it in a very quick little nutshell. And yes, if you're like, okay, that sounds amazing. It sounds like a lot of work on my part as a parent to put it all together. We've already put it together. So we have fall spots opening in August. So if you're like, oh, wait, you'll do all that? Yep, we can do all that. Wait, you're going to read our essays and give the review? We do it all. We do it all. It really does lighten your load, as well as it incorporates this young writing community for your child to be a part of. We would love to welcome you to that. But you don't need to do that. You just heard how I teach that, how we break that down, and you can do it that same way. But like I said earlier, I also want to offer a couple ways that you can focus on value over volume in other subject matters. So math, for example, let's say you're working on fractions. That's always a tricky one for kids to get the concept that a fraction means a number smaller than a whole. But they're seeing numbers that have been whole numbers, like a 1 and a 2, and we're telling them when there's a line in between them, a 1 over a 2, that means half, and that's less than a whole. That's a tricky concept. It really is. And if you're just trying to teach it from a textbook, You're just trying to get the quantity in there. Like, we've got so many chapters we have to get to before our next meeting with our facilitator. Hurry, work, work, work. I'm going to suggest stop. Instead, or I should say in combination, because yes, you want the textbook practice. You want them to do the pen on paper, absolutely. But why not pair that practice, here comes the quality part, by cooking in the kitchen every week. Have a weekly recipe. For the same 2 to 3 weeks that you're working on this fraction concept, come up with a different recipe every week. The one that comes to mind is, as we're heading toward the fall season, like making a homemade apple pie. One, it's fun, but there's a lot of fractions involved in cooking. And then on the second week, pick a recipe that you might want to double. That way, you're going to have to show the concept of adding fractions. We're going to have to double a half and a half, and get out your measuring cups and be like, fill this one half, fill this one half, and then get like a larger container. Pour, half a cup of water. Now pour another half a cup of water in there. Now look at that measuring cup. Oh, it went up to a full cup. Look, a half and a half makes a whole. Whenever you can do this, I promise you, going deeper into the concept, well, yes, it's going to slow things down. Yes, it's going to require more work, but that's okay, because this is an example of value over volume of pages you completed in the math textbook. You're going to help your child discover an aha moment. And as a teacher, there's not much better, anything better than an aha moment. It lights up a kid when they're like, wait, oh my gosh, wait, does that mean? You see the little light bulb go on, and it feels so good for you just as much as it does for them, because you know they got it. For science, same thing. You're going to be looking at your science textbooks as you're planning out your lessons. You're going to be like, okay, we have 18 weeks and, there are 10 chapters. Oh, we're going to have to really rush through this chapter to get it done during this time. Rather than having that as your thought, because remember, all thoughts are optional, why not say, actually, I'm going to look at these 10 chapters and we're going to slow them down. Which of these 10 concepts would really intrigue and interest my child and stay longer, quality, in an area of interest? So, for example, let's say you're learning about air pressure. That was a chapter that was really challenging for us. The boys were not impressed with air pressure. They were bored. They didn't get it. We read the chapter, talked about it. They could tell me the parts and pieces I needed them to, but I knew they were bored, and I knew we really didn't get the quality learning that I wanted. So that night I went on to Pinterest and I was like, air pressure hands-on activities. When they got up in the morning, I cleared everything off our schedule, and I cleared the kitchen table, and out in the kitchen table, I had all kinds of things. I had a 2-liter soda bottle and a balloon, but I also had paper clips and a safety pin and a pencil and an eraser. I had all kinds of oil. And I told them, all right, you have a task today. You need to get a balloon, a small blown up balloon, into this 2-liter soda bottle. Now the balloon hadn't been blown up or anything. They're like, this is going to be so easy. And they put the balloon in the 2-liter bottle and they wrapped it over the mouth of the bottle, and they just started to blow, but they couldn't get it to blow up. And you know why? Because there was too much air in that bottle for them to do that. I will tell you, it took half-hour day, and it was so hard. I'm keeping my mouth quiet because I'm not wanting to give it away for them. But it took time until they finally were like, oh my goodness. And I was reading to them. I'm like, okay, here's what this one says about air pressure. Okay, here's what this source says about air pressure. And it was Derek who finally had his aha moment. And he's like, where's the safety pin? Where's the safety pin? He opens it up and he starts poking multiple holes into the bottom of that 2-liter soda bottle. He's like, air's got to be able to get out because when we're pushing it down, the air pressure is keeping the balloon from being able to be blown up. This was good stuff. I lost a whole day. But what did I gain? So much. As far as history goes, I'm just going to say anytime that you can add in a field trip this year that's going to cement what you're learning, please do it. Just do it. I remember visiting an Egyptian exhibit in Balboa Park in San Diego, and we'd been studying ancient Egypt, and they had a whole mummy exhibit. Oh my goodness. The boys just thought it was the coolest thing. Plus, we had lunch with friends. They got to play in the park. Quality time, quality learning. Here's the thing I want you to remember. Kids should love learning. When we focus on quality over quantity, children are actually given the time to digest concepts, to connect with the material in a whole different way, and definitely in a way outside of classroom learning where you're just stuck at a chair, at a desk all day long, writing out workbook pages, and that's just not going to foster a love of learning. So how can you get creative this year and really focus on value over volume? Those are the words I want you just to be over and over in your head. Write it on your lesson plan book. Value over volume, quality over quantity, depth over breadth, whatever you want to put up there. Just have that shout out to you as a reminder that you want to do that. And I will tell you, novels are a great example. I actually recorded a previous podcast. It's episode 11. I posted that in June of 2023. So you have to go back a year. But I have a whole podcast on how to create a great novel unit. I will just say, this isn't going to surprise you, but if a family told me they're so proud, they're like, we read 20 novels last year. I mean, great for you. That's great. But I would not be nearly as impressed as I would from hearing another family read 4 novels, but spent 8 weeks going deep into the history, the figurative language that was used, the expansion on vocabulary. I am so big on deep dives, especially literature, as a family unit. All right. So things to keep in mind. I will tell you, it is the value. It's not the volume. I hope you can trust me on that. I have years of experience to back it up. You want to be building experiences, my friends. Life should not be a checklist of, oh, we got all of our schoolwork done. Okay, I'm going to go make dinner. No, let's just slow down. Let's create quality time with our kids this year. And I promise you that will also lead to quality learning. If you need any help with any of this, I'm always a click away. You can reach out to me anytime. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.